Hello, Taurus. I'm Adriana, and for your reading today, we are asking the question, what is the rift between yourself and your soul right now that is asking to be recognized and healed? I'm asking this question because if you are on the spiritual journey, this is the kind of question you come back to. Where am I disconnected? Where am I fractured? So we're going to start with a major arcana card and then draw some more cards around the first message. Okay, message for Taurus, please. All right. We've got the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. This is interesting. These are two 1 cards, card number 10 and number 19. So this is about, it's about being able to, I want to say, reap outcomes, but understand that those outcomes are reaped based on where you are at any given moment. The Wheel of Fortune in some decks talks about the hand of destiny turning the wheel, but in this deck it's a bit more empowering. It's about how your vibration at this time turns the hand of destiny, turns the wheel of destiny. So if you're off, you're manifesting and attracting a future that's kind of off, right? If you are aligned with your soul's purpose, if you're aligned in alignment and centered in yourself, then you will reap that. And what I also feel is that with the sun coming out, there is this big benevolent energy that wants you to have the best possible outcome of your current situation. It wants the biggest yes or the biggest success. It wants that for you. But you need to realize that it is the self, it is the hand of the self that can kind of divert the arrow from its course. So if the arrow is your intention and hitting the bullseye means having the success that you know that your soul wants you to have and being in alignment with who you truly are, it's the self that can kind of sabotage the path of that arrow. And the Wheel of Fortune is asking you to be hyper aware of these moments when you get yourself off, when you're triggered, when your stuff comes out, when your shadow comes out, when your icky things come out. Not that we want to run away from the icky things, but to understand that right now, it's like you're very close. You're very close to having this big breakthrough and this big positivity come in. So any little thing you do right now is really important. So, I really like to cook, and maybe I can use a cooking metaphor here. Mixing and adding things, like if you're making cookies, you can add certain things in, and other things don't always have to be perfect because, it's not an angel food cake, it's cookies. You can have a little less of one thing and you can compensate by adding a little more. But when it comes down to the very end of the process, the baking process, sometimes seconds matter. 30 seconds too much or 30 seconds too little can really affect the entire thing, right? It can go to perfectly cooked to burnt in a matter of seconds. So it's at the end of projects or close to the culmination, completion of projects that your vibration, paying attention, being aware of the integrity you have in your own vibration, that's when this matters the most. That's when it's going to have the most impact. Before you can fall over and fall down and stumble and get back up and the course isn't really that altered. But right now, if you do those things and you know better, you're really going to change the outcome. You're really going to change the course. And I do feel that destiny has written something very positive, very big, and really amazing for you. If you want, you can get in the way of that, but hopefully this reading gives you the inspiration to know that right now it's critical that you are very self-aware. All right, let's expand this message. Can you show me where Taurus is likely to see the effects of this energy? All right. Cronus, 5 of Cups, Eight of Cups. Queen of Swords. All right. Emotional judgment. It's in your emotional judgment. There are times when you react emotionally to situations that lead you to aligning with the energy of loss. And what that means is something happens and you immediately go into, oh my God, this happened before and I lost this and this, and you start to feel bad and you start to feel protective, and then the shadow comes out. Whether that's control, whether that's despair, whether that's blame, whatever it is for you, that comes out. But when you're willing to leave that space, you come to a much more clear way of seeing the future and way of seeing the situation. I don't like to often insert myself in these readings. If you've watched this channel for a while, you do know that I'm a Taurus, but I did have a realization with a friend this morning. She was able to illuminate this for me. When I go into my emotional reactivity, that would be this side, then the situation goes out of control and my junk comes out. But when I leave the emotion, I try to get a higher perspective and I say, wait a second, where is the other person coming from? Then I'm able to detach. Queen of Swords is about detachment and mental mastery and being independent rather than the codependence that can arise from these situations. You know, this might happen to you too, that whenever you get into a situation with someone and they start to get a little bit off emotionally and then you start to feel shaky and unsafe, that's those cups spilled here, that your emotions then also start to get triggered. And then, yeah, that shadow comes out. But what we're trying to do is leave those emotional reactions so that you can come to higher ground. You can come to drier ground, in fact. You know, emotions are water and it's what gets us all soggy. Little note, if you ever have problems in your house or where you're living, if it's something to do with water, that's a little signal that something emotionally is not right. Something is off with you. So again, these two, the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Swords for you. Queen of Swords, again, is that clear judgment, the clear head, and the independence. When you're out of when you're out of feeding off of someone else's emotional response, then you do actualize emotional independence. And emotional independence is going to be really helpful for you at this time, Taurus, because that's the only thing that's going to pull this off. Your emotions going the wrong way, that's the only thing that's going to pull you off. But if you can master the emotions to give you information but not pull you to those dark places of the past, then you're really going to soar towards this sun, towards this success. I will go deeper in the extended in how you do that, how you detach yourself from emotions and from getting so stuck. But for now, let's pull an oracle card for you and see what that message is there. Okay, so here we go. Come up. Leap of faith. All right. This is very similar to the Fool energy, but you have to commit to trusting. You have to commit to trusting that this is the way forward. It's really about taking that blind leap. And the reality is, yes, that you might fall, but on the way back up from that fall, you're going to soar. This is not going to be a fall like you can never get up again. So you may make mistakes. You may struggle a little bit, but you're going to get back up and ultimately reach that higher reality. I love that she's holding a wand because it really reminds me of this. In fact, this is really similar colors here and similar little shape there. So you may falter a little bit, but the universe is asking you to create something new with your trust. So the trust in your path, the knowing that when you find yourself getting lost in the regrets or the emotions of the past, the emotional reactions of the past, that you're not trusting the new path when you get into that. All right. So when you find yourself triggered and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose this again, or this is going to happen again, or I'm going to be unsafe, or I'm not going to like this again, that's going back to the past, and that's not taking a leap of faith towards your future. That's really what you're being asked to do. And Taurus, even if you don't have any Scorpio in your chart, I would encourage you to watch the Scorpio reading for this month, because that was a big theme for Scorpio. I can't remember the rest of the reading, but I know that came up in there. So be sure to read that for some extra, watch that for some extra inspiration. I just want to make sure I've got all the, you know what, the book is not letting me open, so I'm just going to stay with this card. Okay. You know, above all, Taurus, this is about trusting yourself and understanding that you are stronger than what you think. You are more capable of handling these tough situations, or these little tests, or this big thing that's approaching you. You're more capable of handling that than you realize. So this is also about not second guessing yourself. All right. You know, sometimes we have to look to other signs for inspiration, and this is where fire signs can really help you, because it's like the bigger the challenge, the more they're like, yes, let's do it, you know? So if you have any fire sign friends, or you know how to tap into the energy of fire, that can be really helpful for you right now, because this is about courage. I know we didn't get the strength card, but I do feel this energy with you, Taurus. And I almost feel like your guides are holding back a little bit to see how much courage you're willing to have in yourself. And so this is the other funny paradox, is that if you're feeling alone and unsupported by your guidance and by your people on the other side, it's because they're waiting for you to believe in yourself first, and then they will step forward with even more support than they have in the past. Okay. So Taurus, I'm going to leave you with that thought, though I am going to keep drawing cards, and I will also explain a little bit how you can rise above your habitual emotional responses. We'll talk about that in the extended. So if you'd like to follow me over there, you're more than welcome. Link is in the description below, and I will talk to you soon.